Oh, hello. Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, how bad of a year was 2023 for Magic the Gathering? Well, those many players might bring up incidents such as over $100,000 in unsold Magic the Gathering product slurry being dumped into a landfill. What an almost too-on-the-nose symbolic representation about the current state of Magic the Gathering product production. Or perhaps those many Magic the Gathering players will bring up where Wizards of the Coast sent the literal Pinkertons to a Magic the Gathering content creator's home in response to them getting Magic product early and making content featuring it, and then, literal weeks later, unveiled a program where they themselves send Magic product early to content creators in order for them to make content featuring it. I'm glad no one was hurt. Or maybe just they'll refer to the fact that this is the year of devastating layoffs by Hasbro at Wizards of the Coast itself, calling into question the very leadership of the parent corporation, as well as their overall core values. But, I'm not talking about any of that here, except for just now when I did, and the other videos I made this year where I did, but this video will be focusing on the game of Magic the Gathering. Never minding PR blunders and corporate actions, what actually were the worst things to happen in the game of Magic the Gathering, the worst products of 2023, the worst decisions and directions of the game itself. And of course I have already released my best things to happen in Magic the Gathering this year, a video focusing on and celebrating the very best of this game. Go watch it if you haven't already. These worst of videos always get 2 to even 3 times the views of my best of series, and then people say all I ever do is say negative things about Magic the Gathering. Because of course all I ever do is complain. I say this is bad and this is bad, and I never celebrate what is literally my favorite game in the entire world, where my life's goal at this point, my very life's work, has become just getting people to play and love Magic the Gathering. No. Sorry. Got a little worked up there, and I got other things to be worked up about, but anyway, the positive video, it's linked below. It's okay to celebrate the good, you know? I'm doing so, for example, by giving away lots of Magic product, huh? Look at this now, all right? Look at these 2 collector booster boxes of Doctor Who, and these From the Vaults. We got From the Vault Dragons and From the Vault Lore, and I want you to pretend this is 12 Ravnica Remastered collector booster boxes, because that's what I'm giving away to you on my next stream on Whatnot. 12 Ravnica Remastered collector booster boxes, plus this. I'll throw this in too. We're giving so much away. You know, I don't want to hold all this, so just, editor, can we get some kind of thing that emphasizes, ooh, wow, it's 12 collector booster boxes of Ravnica Remastered, plus all of this cool From the Vault Dragons, From the Vault Lore, and some other surprises. It's this January 12th at 11 a.m. I've done 3 takes and I'm leaving that take in. 11 a.m. Pacific on Whatnot. And we're being followed by Command Zone. It's a double feature, only it doesn't suck. I'm also giving everyone who signs up with a new account $15 to spend on anything on Whatnot on my stream or on the Command Zone stream. Just go to www.whatnot.com/invite/Tolarian College and create an account, and you'll have a $15 credit to spend on anything on Whatnot, from live auctions to buy it now items, my stream, anyone's stream. It's $15, all right? That's great. And as I said, this January 12th at 11 a.m., I'll be giving away 12 collector booster boxes to anyone just hanging out in my Whatnot stream. You don't even have to buy anything, plus those 2 Doctor Who collector booster boxes and also the From the Vaults. And then it's a double feature as I'm being followed by the Command Zone, and they're doing giveaways and cool stuff too. So mark your calendars, not just for Ravnica Remastered, but maybe you getting free Ravnica Remastered collector booster boxes and other cool Magic the Gathering items. So while we're about to dive into the very worst of Magic the Gathering this year, be sure to also tune in for some fun and positivity, and maybe walk away with cool free products, or, you know, just that $15 credit. And hey, thank you Whatnot for sponsoring this video. But first, an honorable mention. 2020, leave it in. 2023 was the year that Wizards of the Coast felt the need to end draft booster packs, and I think that's worthy of note. Joking aside, it's a sad note. Back in October, Wizards of the Coast announced that both set and draft boosters were to be discontinued, and that, starting with Murders at Karlov Manor, the first standard set of 2024, they would be replaced by play boosters. Now, as of the filming of this video, I do not know whether play boosters will succeed or fail, as they have not been released yet. And this is in no way me saying that play boosters were a mistake or otherwise a bad thing. I want them to do well. I hope they succeed. I want Magic to do well. This isn't about play boosters at all, but rather it's about the fact that the choices and decisions Wizards of the Coast has made in the direction of its product lines led to the fact that draft boosters had to be discontinued. As I explained in my video where I covered this issue at length, play boosters were not a bold, new, innovative direction. They are a bandage on a wound, a self-inflicted wound that Wizards of the Coast caused. The fact that play boosters are necessary at all is what I am lamenting here. Draft boosters, which have been the key center of Magic the Gathering for over 20 years, needed to go away. And the reasons for their needing to go away were due to poor decisions in marketing and product lines by Wizards of the Coast. And again, thankfully, Draft is not going away. They were never discussing having Draft go away. Play boosters are to save Draft and allow it to continue, but the fact that we needed play boosters at all is terrible. We cannot predict the future, but we can mourn the past. What we lost, and 2023 was the year that we lost draft booster packs. Now, there's technically still one final draft booster set, which will happen in the first few weeks of 2024. Ravnica Remastered, and if you watched my best of video, you know how much I love remastered sets, and this remastered set, Ravnica Remastered, now has the added significance of being the very last time that draft packs will ever be made by Wizards of the Coast. I mean, until the next giant mishap, which inevitably causes them to change direction, undo what they said they needed to do, then maybe change direction again, like how they kept getting rid of core sets, then bringing them back, then getting rid of them again, or changing standard rotation. It needs to happen faster! No, wait, it needs to happen slower! No, wait! What the hell is standard? Why, it's the next item on our list, or rather, the total lack of effort that has been put into revitalizing it in 2023. Earlier this year, Wizards of the Coast announced their intention to revitalize Standard. Now, for those of you that do not play Magic Arena, Standard is a 60-card 1v1 format that, once upon a time, was the premier constructed format of Magic the Gathering. Entire events known as Grand Prix were held where thousands upon thousands of Magic the Gathering players, many one might say, would gather to play this format. It was the format that local game stores held Friday Night Magic in. Well, it was either Standard or Draft. That's an interesting connection to the last point. These two formats were the formats of Magic the Gathering. But those days are long gone, and Standard has not only been on the decline, but it has largely disappeared from paper play. And yet, just like being able to draft booster packs, having a Standard format is vital to the larger health and ecosystem of Magic the Gathering. And so when Wizards of the Coast announced that they would indeed be making major steps to bring Standard back to paper, most Magic the Gathering players agreed. Yeah, that seems like an important thing for them to do and to focus effort upon. So what steps did they take? What initiatives were implemented? What bold new programs and innovative changes did we see to revitalize Standard in 2023? To be frank, next to nothing, and at the close of 2023, Standard is really in no better shape than it was prior to this pledge. The only real steps taken have been to change the rotation time of Standard, making it a lot longer before cards rotate out, a controversial decision for many reasons, least of all being that this Standard is currently plagued by a lot of cards that probably, maybe, definitely should rotate out, and the decision to force Standard at high-level competitive play by making Pro Tour March of the Machine and the Magic World Championship standard events. I mean, yeah, that's a start, force the pros to play it, but beyond that, Nothing. After such a major announcement, the only real changes of note are a longer rotation, which is itself questionable, and forcing the World Championship to be standard. To be fair, as of the filming of this video, they have released another article where they detailed more concrete plans for next year. They do note that more work needs to be done, and there's a plan to bring weekly standard events back to WPN stores in 2024 with special promos. I'm all about that, as well as a $75,000 standard open, and that Pro Tour Outlaws at Thunder Junction is standard. And I certainly wish them well, as I do truly believe revitalizing standard needs to be a priority, but as for 2023, they said it would be, and I feel they dropped the ball. Pretty severely, in fact. But 2024, what new things will they do to force people to play standard next? Stay tuned. And speaking of forced, let's talk about the Magic the Gathering story, the fourth worst thing to happen in 2023. 2023 was the year where one of the most epic Magic the Gathering storylines unfolded. The Phyrexian invasion of the multiverse. The Phyrexians, one of Magic the Gathering's most beloved and feared villains, certainly one of the most popular, have at long last begun their invasion of the multiverse. The very core of what makes the world of Magic the Gathering, or dare I say it, the worlds of Magic the Gathering, distinct and unique. Planeswalkers, the heroes of our stories and focal points of Magic the Gathering itself, are losing this battle, have lost. And many of our beloved characters are being converted into Phyrexians, an irreversible process that means they are lost to evil forever. How will this story unfold? Which of our heroes will live and die? What classic worlds of Magic the Gathering will we see fighting against the Phyrexian invasion, and how will it forever change them? What new worlds might we visit? New characters might we meet and embrace? How will this story unfold, and how will it change the worlds of Magic the Gathering forever? It turns out all that happened in a single set, and all you really needed to do was cut Elish Norn's head off, and all the Phyrexians powered down, and most of the Planeswalkers who were lost via being irreparably converted into Phyrexians just, they got better.
Well, she turned me into a
Phyrexian. Phyrexian.
Got better.
So yes, there were a lot of problems with the Magic story, so many that it would take at least an entire video to go over them all, which, ironically, would be more time than was actually devoted to the Phyrexian invasion this year. But the short, simple explanation is that far too much was attempted to be done in far too little space. The setup to the invasion was actually quite thrilling. Phyrexia All Will Be One had people greatly excited for and anticipating where this story was going. Unfortunately, the decision was made that the invasion of the multiverse and the solution to the invasion of the multiverse would both take place in the same set. March of the Machine. Epic stories like this need space. I could see the Phyrexian invasion being a long tell, where we revisit multiple worlds and see the very different struggles going on there. Which worlds win, which worlds lose, and how they are changed forever. But even if a long story spanning years and years of Magic sets is not what Wizards of the Coast wanted to do, at the very least, March of the Machine should have been exclusively focused on the invasion of the multiverse, the March of the Machine, with a third, missing narrative set, let's call it Fall of the Machine, where it shows how the battle ends. Not only was the story itself handled very poorly, but so too was its epilogue. Which planeswalkers lived and which died? Which ones were made Phyrexian and which ones healed miraculously? What is going on with the many characters that we know on the many worlds that we love after the invasion? That info is there if you dig for it, but I feel the larger Magic the Gathering population, or even the segment of the Magic the Gathering population that is interested in and tries to follow the Magic story, probably couldn't answer most of those questions. So the Magic story, both in terms of its invasion and its aftermath, was one big bust. But the story's aftermath wasn't the only thing that went terribly wrong in 2023. There was, of course, aftermath boosters themselves. Without a doubt, one of the worst things to happen in Magic the Gathering in 2023 were aftermath booster packs, which were booster packs of 5 cards sold for $85 per box of 24 packs. I shall repeat that because it bears repetition. Aftermath were booster packs of 5 cards each, sold in boxes of only 24 packs for $85 a box. They also sold collector booster packs. Those had 6 cards in them. It was the closest Magic the Gathering has ever come, ever, to creating a product that was not actually a product. It's as if they wanted to sell you a booster pack of air, but realized, we can't sell them a booster pack of air, so we need to determine the absolute minimum, the least that we can put in a booster pack, the least amount of work and development that we can put into a set of Magic the Gathering. And they came up with epilogue boosters, 5-card booster packs that they intended to sell for about $3.50 each. Suffice it to say, they did not sell for that, and Aftermath widely became available for grossly slashed prices, greatly damaging, yet again, the local game stores which carry Magic the Gathering products, and closing out the great March of the Machine, not with a bang, but with a sad little whimper. The set itself only had 50 cards, so opening up multiple packs was just card after card after card of the same card. Many different treatments, but endless repeats. While there were a couple high-ticket cards, for the most part there was little to no value in the majority of this set. So again, booster packs were next to worthless. So yeah, March of the Machine Aftermath was indeed the worst non-product of the year. But what was the worst full-on product of the year? Well, it's our number 2 pick. You know, I have a feeling everybody knows what this next product is. In fact, I think many Magic the Gathering players are probably going to be really sincerely upset that it's not being listed as the number 1 worst thing to happen in Magic the Gathering this year. And that product, of course, say it with me now, is Commander Masters. Commander Masters was supposed to be a celebration of the Commander format, a great draft experience paired with needed and exciting reprints. In reality, though, this set turned out to be a forgettable and expensive exercise in futility, lumped in between 2 of the most exciting sets of the year. That's why it's our second worst official release of 2023. The failure of Commander Masters can be summarized in 3 main ways: poor timing of the release, notable missing reprints, and the unreasonable price point. Let's start with timing. Commander Masters was released immediately after Lord of the Rings: Tales of Middle-earth, which itself was not only an incredibly hyped set, but one that came with a wide variety of products to buy and a premium price tag. Its August release date also meant that Commander Masters came just a few weeks, literal weeks, before Wilds of Eldraine was released, one of the other most successful sets of the year. In fact, Wilds of Eldraine printed many of the chase cards available in Commander Masters, like Doubling Season and Smothering Tithe. So why am I buying premium packs of Commander Masters when I can get the same cards in regular priced boosters? Speaking of those reprints, while Commander Masters did include some valuable chase cards, many Magic the Gathering players noted that there were many cards missing from the set as well. When you think of expensive Commander cards, you might think of things like Dockside Extortionist, Rhystic Study, Sylvan Library, Teferi's Protection, and many, many more. But none of those Commander staples that needed to be reprinted were reprinted in Commander Masters. Those cards were all left out in favor of junk rares like Boom Pile. So that didn't exactly incentivize Commander players to want to buy and open this set either. Nor does it make drafting it a good value proposition, especially when you look at the price. Despite slightly depreciating in cost, draft boxes are still going for around $250 each, while draft pack prices are holding steady at around $12 per pack. The value proposition of a pack, however, has only gotten worse since we did our final financial breakdown in our Is It Worth It to Buy video. I'm not going to go over all the details of that video here. You can watch it to see just how bad it was at time of release, but since then it's certainly only gotten worse. I mean, imagine buying a $12 pack of Commander Masters and getting only Ogre Slumlord and Stitcher Geralf as your rares. Brutal. The fact that Commander, the most played Magic the Gathering format, its biggest and best, could not be successfully combined with a Masters set, Magic the Gathering's most premium of prestige sets, is an utter failure to both Commander and to Masters sets. But it also shows signs that Magic the Gathering is headed down a road in a very wrong direction, that their priorities and choices are making a sure thing like Commander Masters into a failure of a release. Commander Masters, in many ways, is a symptom of a greater problem in Magic, and that's a problem that also has led to, and I feel is embodied by, the worst thing to happen in Magic the Gathering in 2023. All right, I'm gonna be honest. This pick is probably controversial, and I'm going to stand by it because I deeply believe the worst thing to happen in Magic the Gathering was not Lord of the Rings, which was an amazing, excellent set, but rather the one ring and all it represents. So going into this final item, I need to be really clear. I not only liked Lord of the Rings as a set, I thought it was masterful. Well done, both in terms of card designs, mechanics, and capturing the flavor and lore of Lord of the Rings. But in that, I am speaking on the base set itself. And when you look not only at the serialized cards that were a part of this set, but specifically the one ring and what it brought to Magic the Gathering, it is, in my opinion, the worst thing to happen in Magic the Gathering this year, maybe in many years. That's because the one ring transformed Magic the Gathering from a game into a spectacle, a pursuit of a lottery ticket worth money. Many people made the joke that getting the one ring was like getting a Willy Wonka golden ticket, but I think instead of the boxes and boxes of chocolate that are being opened and, despite being the best chocolate in the world, discarded and thrown away by people who don't care about the product, they just want that golden ticket, right? This is what the one ring did to Magic and what it represents for the game's future. One of the best sets of all time, and the obsession isn't over what a great game it is, what great designs the cards are, just on whether or not you'll open up $1 million card in a pack. So buy packs, buy as many packs as you can, and just toss those cards away. They're not to be played with. It's just opening up packs and not really caring about the contents. Buy them by the truckload for a chance at that one ring or the many other serialized inclusions. The purpose of buying Magic the Gathering product should be, at its core, to want to play Magic the Gathering, because Magic the Gathering is a game, one of the greatest games in the world. And yes, the collectible aspect to Magic is both valid and important too. I'm a big believer in having special artworks and treatments of cards, and there's a really intense place in my heart for those cards that we collect and save and that mean so much to us. But there is also a line that demarcates the difference between collectible game pieces and gimmick lottery tickets. And with the one ring, if we did not cross that line, we danced upon its edge. Transforming Magic the Gathering from game to gimmick cheapens it. Lord of the Rings was the best-selling Magic the Gathering set of all time, but I cannot help but wonder how well it would have sold without serialized cards, and specifically, how well it would have sold without the one serialized ring. Is it naive of me to think, I truly think, that Lord of the Rings would have still been the best-selling Magic set of all time? Because this is a set that combined the mechanics and design of the greatest game of all time with the work and world of the greatest fantasy literature of all time. Should not that be the merit to which we aspire? Should not that be what sells product? I do not like what we have become with spectacles of the one ring. I do not like the cynicism and hollowness of it. I spoke earlier of Wizards of the Coast sometimes feeling like it wanted to sell a product without even creating a product. Well, is there any greater example of that than just putting serialized cards in booster packs in order to make them sell? How is that different than just putting fetch lands into booster packs to make them sell? People want fetch lands because they want to play the game. They don't want serialized cards because they want to play the game. And if the road to success lies in fewer cards per pack, non-draftable sets, and lottery ticket pulls of IP other than Magic the Gathering's own, what exactly lies at the end of that road? And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that pick. The surefire thing would have been to say, Commander Masters, boo, but it's something I really believe in my heart, and I'm always going to speak from that heart. So that is what I feel is the worst thing to happen in Magic the Gathering in 2023. But I also feel it's not all bad, because 2023 was actually a year where some amazing things happened in Magic the Gathering. Please, if you have not already done so, watch my video on the best things to happen in Magic in 2023. Let's make this the year that my worst of video does not outperform 2 to 3 times more than my best of video, but in fact, I don't know, gets the same or similar views. Let's focus on the good. Celebrate Magic. I love Magic. And remember, I'm giving away 12 collector's booster boxes of Ravnica Remastered. 12 collector booster boxes, plus 2 of these, the other ones on the floor, plus 2 of these Doctor Who collector booster boxes, plus 2 from the vaults, plus a lot of other surprises. And when you sign up with my invite code, I'm also giving you $15 to spend on whatever you want on Whatnot. It all takes place this January 12th at 11 a.m., followed by a doubleheader with the Command Zone, and you can get that credit just by going to www.whatnot.com/invite/Tolarian College. I hope very much to see you there, and have a great time celebrating this great game, and thank you, Whatnot, for sponsoring this video. Next time, it's the lost episode of Shuffle Up and Play, an episode we thought we could never air because it's got so many misplays. But we sat down with our judges and marked every misplay we could, and now it's time for you to watch along and see if you can catch them before we do. Are you ready to shuffle up and misplay? Glad we caught that.
It is a good combo, yeah.
Why would you do that to me?
Well, you're out of mana, though. How many?
So Celestia's trigger when it switches or no?
Oh, Urza.
Essentially, if you weren't following what just happened, this was still in my hand.
How could you not be following what was happening? This is the point where the Magic Online client crashes.
Yeah.
Just blows up.